Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Happy almost Turkey Day. Nice to see you, Dr. Barth.
Good to see you, Eric. Welcome
Tonight,
to Rubber Duck Engineering.
yes, tonight on Rubber Duck Engineering, we're going to do, I guess, a holiday special, and we're going to be exploring a random board dice game from over 200 years ago, if I can believe that it took a bit of internet spelunking to actually find out about, but that Adam and I, in a fit of passion, wrote this weekend in Flutter Web. So that's the show.
This is a game that my wife's family plays around Hanukkah, but because of the pandemic, we can't all be there in person, and so I sort of foolishly signed up to create an online version of the game because we've been playing online board games, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm sure there's just a online version of this game around somewhere, but I think this game is sufficiently obscure that I may have to create it.
So the internet would believe that this game was not at all obscure until around the Second World War, but that it was hugely popular through Europe until like basically 1940, 1950. And
unfortunately, that was before the Web 2.7 revolution, where everything became an online social experience.
It took a while to find information about the game. I've gotten better at it now that the web, you kind of have to hold it right to find things, or Google or whatever.
I think we found the rules on the Wayback Machine's version of GeoCities, just for level of obscurity we're talking about here.
In fact, I can even show you because I have some of these things up. So here is the Wikipedia page for the game.
We're 2 paragraphs of it.
Yes, all 2 paragraphs of it. Bell and Hammer. Anytime a Wikipedia page is only two pages or 2 paragraphs, I question a little bit. This is the Internet Archive GeoCities page that made this all possible and explains the game. Bell and Hammer, Glocke und Hammer. And and then you go looking around and there's all these auction sites that will sell you versions of the game in French or in German. Here's another one.
Oh, this is a sold listing, actually.
What did you say?
I think this thing is actually sold. Someone bought it.
Oh yeah, they're antiques. But Wikipedia claims this was quite popular from the early 1800s to the mid 20th century.
I have some pictures loaded up if you want to see what one of these sets looks like. Let's see. I click this one. Yeah. So this is the box, and then more box. I guess you're going to pay £400 for it. You want to know what you're getting. These are the rules, which are fairly difficult to decipher. But it's a dice rolling game, so you
you roll 8 dice.
You roll 8 dice.
They're all special relative to modern day. There's 6-sided dice, but only one of the 6 sides has, for all 8 dice, only one of the 6 sides has something on them.
So most of the sides are blank. And then
so 5 of the 6 sides, yeah.
These 2 dice are special. So instead of having numbers on them, one of them has a bell and one of them has a hammer. And the other 5 sides are blank.
Howdy, Morse.
And then at the beginning of the game, you get these cards that get auctioned off. So there's the bell and the hammer, and the hammer and bell. And this is the white horse or the schimmel, and this is the inn. And so you basically buy these cards at auction at the beginning of the game, and then you roll a bunch of dice, and there are a bunch of rules that say which card, the person who has which card pays which other person, and the money sort of flies around the table until the game is over.
Yep.
This is the gavel for the auction. Is that what we decided?
I guess.
Oh, here's a close-up of the dice. So you can sort of see the...
And those dice are probably made out of like ivory or something.
Yeah. Anyway, it's cool. The beautiful set.
Yep,
here are the rules. You want to quickly read and decipher the rules? Go for it.
Anyways, that GeoCities page that we sent has the rules laid out nice and clearly. But anyway, so we spent quite a few hours this weekend hammering out an implementation of the game, which we
Should we
haven't
do a quick
pushed to
tour?
GitHub yet, but can. What'd you say?
Should we do a quick tour of the thing we built?
Yeah.
The code?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me figure out how to turn on the code machine here. Okay, so whoops. So here you see I have it running, but we can make this a little bigger. Where do you want to start?
Why don't we start with the rules?
Okay. So here are the possible faces on the die, the initial coins you get, the ante per round. It's a gambling game, effectively. This is a die. You can see all the dies have 5 blank faces and 1 face. Something that knows how to roll. It takes a random, although we had to make our own RNG engine for reasons we'll get into later. This handles the results and calculating pips.
It's important to add up the pips on all the dice because that involves like how much money gets moved from one player to another.
Yep. Other things. So there's like when we are moving money around, we call it piles. So there's like the pool is like the central pool for the round, the current player, and then these are the like roles that you play. And we'll explain that more later. And then this is just for showing the UI. When we show the UI, you'll see that these are not explained, but it might be nice to explain the rules that are applying in a given transaction. This is like a class to hold the transactions for like moving money around. This is given a roll result. What is the resulting transaction? Basically follow the rules. It does that. It builds these little transaction objects. Where should we go next?
Maybe the actions. So we tried to build the engine using this flux pattern where the actions are these sort of first-class objects that are immutable. And then the states of the game are also immutable. And then there's this reduction operation that takes a current state of the game, some action, and gives you the next state of the game. And so the idea is the current state of the game you can represent just as a list of all the actions that have ever taken place. And then it's deterministic to then compute forward from the initial state all the way to the current state. And the idea is it's a multiplayer game. Like different people are going to log in from different computers to the same table. And then the thing that gets synchronized through the database is going to be just these actions. And then each player locally will then apply the action locally and simulate the game in lockstep with each other.
Neither of us had done Redux before, but we basically read this one page on the internet, this from redux.js, and attempted to do that. And I'm sure that there are people in
we may have totally failed. Like if
Yeah.
you're a Redux expert, you may laugh at what we've done. But it seems to work. And it also allows to do things like undo, right? So you can say like, okay, I didn't actually want to take that action, go back.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but yeah, so this is our single global state store that theoretically eventually will get serialized to the internet. We haven't actually done that part yet, or we did, but then we broke it. Players, and then we separate the like player ID. This is a little awkward, but the player ID class basically from the like actual storage of the player information that lets the player IDs be constant and not so you can like use them as identifiers in places. Like the state of the auction, because the game has 2 phases. One of which is where you like auction off the cards, and the other which is when you roll the dice and then move money around between the card holders, basically. Anything else to show here?
do you want to show an example action? Like maybe show the bid action?
Sure. So different from Redux, these are not free functions. We put these reduce functions on these actions. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's how we currently structure it. So this is actually one of the most complicated actions, this bid action.
So the inputs are pretty simple, right? Just a player and then an amount that they're bidding. But then you have to take the table, the game table, and like whatever state it is, and like apply this action to it.
Yep. So here's a bunch of just error checking. Well, like, did you try to apply this action at a time it didn't make sense? And then there's code here.
if you try to spend more coins than you have, then it's like, no, sorry, that's not legit.
Yep.
You got to outbid the previous bidder, otherwise you're in trouble.
And so the whole paradigm here is that you take the state, you call some method on it that gets you a new version of that state, and that's what this reducer does. Is it takes in a state, an immutable state, and returns you a new immutable state.
Maybe you want to show the engine, just to show how that works?
Sure. So the engine is like a helper class that gives you a mutable object to deal with these immutable objects. So it's common when, so like if we looked at an example, so I have like the way that we divided the duties was I did everything in the command line and he did actually all the Flutter stuff. I haven't actually touched the Flutter part of the code yet. But so this little command line creates a player count, makes this engine, which is again, the engine's job is to like hold the state for you, but as a mutable object. So you can think about it in mutable terms, which is easier to work with. So you create a player. Remember, this is really just a player ID. You add it to the game. And this, if you look at this, what this does is it adds it to the like action log, which you could imagine getting serialized up. And then it takes the action and it reduces the current state to be a new state and caches that then for you. And then tells all the players to sit, begins the round, which causes anteing. And then it runs this little auction, which really just, for each of the cards, it makes bids. But the way, all it does is it just tells the engine, hey, pretend this, or, this bidder made a bid.
Yeah, if you want to see this from the UI, if you go into main.dart, there'll be I think a game bid widget that does a similar thing from the UI.
Lib main.dart. What say?
Might be like a bidding view.
Okay.
There should be maybe auction card view. Somewhere in here, there should be a bid button.
Here's actually do the bid.
Yeah, so just basically parses the text out of the controller, and then just creates the bid action and adds it to the game model.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you click on game model, if you can jump the definition on that.
Game model. This is like the engine, or it holds an engine.
Yeah, so it's an inherited notifier. So the game model just sits near the root of the tree, and then anybody can go find the model anywhere they want, and they can add new things to it. And then when something gets added, it notifies the change. It's a change notifier, so it notifies it, which then causes everyone who inherits from it to rebuild with the new game state.
Yep, makes sense. So we can show you what this looks like.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is the Flutter app. So I added a player. Let's add another one, bar. We have player, foo, and bar. You can tell this could use a little bit of UI help there.
We've been mostly working on the engine. The front end needs a little bit of love to actually be beautiful.
If we start the game, we have bar sitting up here with 32 coins and no cards. Foo sitting down here with 32 coins and no cards. And I presume it's, whose turn is it to bid?
That very subtle blue outline around foo means it's their turn.
Oh, okay. All right, so say bid 4. Great. So current best offer is now 4 by foo, and I guess it's now bar's turn. 6. Will the whole thing blow up if I put an invalid bid in?
If you bid more coins than you have, it'll cause an exception right now.
I see. It doesn't display in the UI anywhere.
Yeah, we haven't done all the error cases yet. So tread a little gently at this phase of development.
So once foo passed, then the auction was over, and now we're bidding on the next one, which is the hammer and bell. If we just pass out through this, we'll get to the rolling stage once we've.
Bar ended up with all the cards.
Why does this show the in here?
So this is indicating, because there's a red outline, the in is closed.
Oh.
And at some point, the game will change state, and the in will be open, which means the outline turns to green. I just basically wired everything up in the model to something in the UI so I can see it. It doesn't make any sense. Like there's like clearly a pass we need to do through the app to like actually make some decent UI.
Well, so maybe that's what we should do tonight. Is just like make the UI a bit more.
I think that would be really nice. Like I just basically connected all the wires to something, but not at all sensible.
Okay.
Do you want to try the roll buttons just so people can see what that's like?
Sure. So this rolls.
Oh, you roll all blanks, which happens a lot because
truly all
5 out of the 6 sides are blanks.
And what does this do? The reason in closed no pips from pile current to pile shimmel. So from whoever the current roller was to whoever has the shimmel. So foo transferred bar or something.
Yeah.
And this is transaction reason less than pool. So we rolled less than what was left in the pool. And so we moved from the pool to whoever rolled.
Which was
foo.
Yeah. It's also
now it's bar's turn. And we did again. You basically get to take coins when you roll less than the pool, and then things get real exciting when the pool gets low, because then any overroll causes the in to open, which we may see here. So here we didn't roll anything. I'm saying this having never played the game, having only ever read the rules. Have you actually played the game, Dr. Barth?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on when I played the game because the rules are quite complicated. But they took all my money and then they said that was what was supposed to happen. So it's like, okay.
Oh my goodness, the end's open. So we rolled 9, which is more than the pool, which causes the end to open whenever you overroll. And so then we moved
because
we from the hammer.
Because you rolled a hammer to the in.
To the in. So they moved to themselves.
But because Bar holds all the cards.
So normally that's not the case.
Bar is just paying himself a lot.
All right, so here we did in open, no symbols, no pips from shimmel. So that Bar is holding the shimmel to the pool. Oh, and now we're done.
Now we're done. It's very unsatisfying when it ends because there's no like game over screen. It just.
All right. So, yeah, maybe we should add a game over screen. That feels like.
I was thinking maybe we should just work on this screen here, like have a nice lobby for the game. Because right now, like these players have coins that they've won from previous games. So we can
do you
show
keep your
that.
Coins between?
Yeah, you keep your coins from round to round.
Wow, it's interesting. Windows does not like. That's interesting. It sort of tiles the space that way. Okay, so you want to work on the lobby screen? You know what it's called?
It's in main somewhere.
Is it called lobby?
I think it's called setup view.
Setup view. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Generate seed. Build.
Yeah, this is the whole UI that you're seeing right now.
I see. Add player, start. And we have sitting players. I see. So this is because this is set up for local play. Because you wouldn't in multiplayer you would just have a join button.
Okay, so why don't you rename it to join instead of add player?
Well, but this does actually add player right now. You can add multiple. But okay.
I think the main thing I want out of this is to see the coins. Like that's what I feel the most sad about not having.
Great. So let's just add that.
Also want it to be centered.
And then this thing, we need like a.
So I was thinking maybe we should like have a nice like badge, like player badge that shows you like here's your name and here's your coins. So I wonder if we just make like a nice player view.
Sure.
That does that, and then we can just like put the player views in a column or something.
We have player view already? Did I just?
There's already a player view, but I want you to do like player badge or something.
Sure.
The other player view is ugly, but I think if we start here, we can build a nice player view.
So player view, and we just need to pass the player to this, right?
Correct, because it can find the model just fine.
Player, and this is final. Okay, this is going to be desktop player. This is required.
Yep.
Okay, and then we can just take whatever this is and throw it in there. Map widget. I see. So we just do this. Player view.
Let me give you the state.
Equals.
I was going to give you a handle to the state.
Oh, you're going to do it. Oh, I see. Pass this. Okay. Player badge to list. Setting player. Should be correct. What's wrong with that? Argument string. Yeah, you probably want a bang. Yeah. Player required. Oh, okay. I have to name it. That's its problem in life. All right. Okay. So we're not changed at all, right? All right. Is this do, if we do blah?
Yeah, I think that'll prove that we're actually using it. Yeah.
We are, in fact, still hot reloading.
I really like the like circle avatars from material design. I wonder if we try to build off of those.
I have no idea what those.
A thing called circle avatar is a Flutter widget. Oh, badge.
Oh,
that's
actual badges.
Oh, chip. Oh, chip is what we want. The chip class.
Sure.
Chip.
Circle avatar. Oh. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, these things are really pretty. Like, that's what I like about material design is they like have so much stuff, and all their stuff is really pretty.
All right. All right, but now we need to give them a little avatar.
That's true.
All right, that's something.
Yeah, see, look, isn't that? I think maybe we just take their first letter, maybe, like of their name.
Sure. We also could like let people pick from in some like later version of the thing.
Why is it mad?
Okay. That's better than nothing.
And then we want to show their coins somehow. Like,
I still want some spacing between this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What the easy way to do that is. I think I would have to just manually insert spacing. This really wants to actually be a one of those inline for loop things.
Mm-hmm.
This wants to be for. I think that works. Clearly not quite right.
I never know when to use the curly braces. I think you're not supposed to use the curly braces.
Bob was just telling us about this last episode. He made this. He brought this into the world. And here I am abusing it. Okay, so theoretically that's working. Which is nicer.
How do we want to display their coins though? Like,
I mean, you could truly just add it to the text. Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Oh, interesting. Why are they reset to 36?
It shouldn't be reset. I just think that's how the game went.
Hey, I thought games normally went until somebody ran out of money.
Oh, the pool, when the pool runs out. And the pool pays out all of its money to the players, and the game is over.
Yeah. Okay, let's play through another one, just because I think we lost state here.
Okay.
So if we start,
why don't you bid some actual amount for some of these?
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Oh wait, why don't we fix this bug while we're here? So like, you bid. What is it mad about? You tried to parse a thing that wasn't legit.
That was just empty.
It was the empty string. That's good. We should fix that.
Okay. Is there like there's like a try parse, isn't there? Or am I thinking Rust? There is a try parse.
And it returns null if it doesn't go. Okay. The other thing is we should check whether you have enough money to make the bid.
With this text editing controller, you can also restrict. It's also weird that you're like pulling from the value. I thought that if we used like a form, it would like hand it to you.
I didn't have any idea how to do the text editing. If there's a better way of doing it, we should definitely do it.
Well, it's all changed since you and I were hacking in the framework. But I think that where does this get set up? Text field. Like I suspect there's a way to.
There were just so many options on this thing. I felt a little lost. I've definitely set it so you can only type in numbers.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, there was a helpful example about that.
Because that'll then like also show the numbered keyboard on the. What's going on? Why is that? See, I just hadn't saved it. Okay. Now Foo's getting them all. Okay. Oh my goodness. Overflowed. So much overflow. So little time. I don't fully understand how window resizing works in Windows.
All right, so bar has 36 and foo has 32.
So little. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There must be a better way. Is there like a list view with padding?
Probably. I wonder if there's like a container you're supposed to put the chips in. Like a.
Oh, we could also just map. Like we could map over the thing. Whoa. Space around. I said, yeah. You can padding window, sized box. Sure. I think there's an easy way that we could just map all these, right? To have paddings. Where are we?
Oh, they recommend a wrap. So if you put them as children of a wrap, then you can specify spacing between the chips.
Well, I was just thinking that if we took this children, right? Mm-hmm. Whoa, where did it go? Yeah, here. We did let var, I've typed too much Rust. Children, right? Mm-hmm. And then we could just do children.
Oh, just wrap them in padding widgets?
Map. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could work.
I mean, happy to use some other way.
I think we should put these children in a wrap, though. That's what they seem to recommend.
Well, what would that do?
I think that's just sort of the normal way chips are presented.
Oh, I see.
And then we could say spacing. They recommended 8.
Well, isn't that to put like chips all on a line next to each other?
So they'll be in a row.
Addresses?
Yeah, instead of a column, but I think that's fine, right?
Okay, that feels a little weird, but sure. Okay, keep going.
Just,
Yeah.
let's see what it looks like. That feels the buttons feel too close. Isn't there a thing like a button bar? Do we want a button bar? Yeah, button bar. Whenever using rows and columns, there's always like a fancier thing you should be using. Yeah.
Sure.
So what happens if we put the buttons in a button bar? Children.
Does it not do it when you save, only when I save? Whoa.
Yeah.
This is now, I see, alignment.
Well, I think this whole thing should be in a dialogue is what's going on. Instead of a column, it should be a simple dialogue.
What kind of alignment is this? Main axis alignment. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, well now the whole thing needs padding because somehow.
I think simple dialogue has a bunch of these things. Padding.
That's a little wild to see it as a dialogue, but sure.
Oh, is this the wrong thing?
Do not take notes from us as to how to design your.
Yeah, we're not designers. We're just trying to make it like not horrifically ugly. It's kind of padding. Oh, maybe it's like edge insets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edge insets.
All, I think. You want.
Insets all 8.
Everything in material design is always like 8.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like enough. I think we need try 16.
Now it needs like a label that says like seated players or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a
title?
Title, yeah.
Okay, why is this still... It's like it needs more padding or something. This is kind of interesting.
Oh, content padding had a default. Look at that. So I think maybe we shouldn't be replacing that. I think we need to just... Our wrap needs... yeah, I want to get rid of that. Like, we need to do something with our wrap. Like it's...
Does this thing have a different spot to put your buttons from your content?
Like, let's look at the help for simple dialogue.
Not be title, but rather be like...
Oh, simple dialogue option is what it's supposed to be. Oh, just looking at the help for simple dialogue.
Options used in this type of dialogue. Okay.
Okay, simple dialogue option.
Oh, I see. That's what instead of the button.
Oh, those are for like vertical. Oh, look at that. That looks nice.
It does look much more like a dialogue now.
And then there's some way of like saying this dialogue option is the fancy one, like the default.
But when you click add player, I don't think this is the right user contract here. When you click add player, you're going to get another dialogue on top of your dialogue.
What? Oh, okay. Well, when you put it that way, it does seem like not the right thing to do.
I feel like this is
we went wrong somewhere.
I think we went wrong when we started making this a dialogue.
Oh, maybe we just need a material.
Instead of a dialogue? Sure. Yeah, I think we don't want these to be... I don't know what you had these be. Oh, elevated
buttons. This is why you need designers on your project.
Yeah.
Column widget. We started with a column widget, and then we've kind of gone crazy here.
Okay, what is your simple dialogue? We're going to move from this to just a material.
Yeah.
There's a card.
Oh, a card. Yeah. There's a thing called a card. But I hid it because we had another thing called card. So,
It's a card view. Oh, that's yours.
that's yours. I think you just say card.
Well, I think this is going to be wrong. We're going to need to do do this.
Yeah. That's what you're. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that looks more legit. But what does a card actually take? It just has a single child? Yeah, it has a single child. All right, so it just has a child, and then we need to put a column here.
Okay.
All right, we need to give it an elevation. Elevation of 4? I don't know.
Wonder why the elevation went away. Oh, it's just big. Do you see it?
Oh. Yeah.
Because does it have like a
Covering
shrink
the whole
wrap?
thing. Why don't we try centering it? Center. What will that do?
If you want to learn Flutter, don't watch Stumble Through Flutter. go watch something the actual professionals.
It's kind of fun just to try all these things. Like that's like, yeah.
It has whoa, hello.
Uh-huh.
It's slightly better, except if I make this wider, it's going to be wide.
Okay.
What about cross-axis size? Is there a?
No, I don't think there's a cross-axis.
Yeah, you want like a shrink wrap behavior. What happens if we wrap with a or something like that?
Oh boy, now you're going crazy.
I don't know. I think we're this is MVP.
I think this is a lot better now that you can see how many coins the players have.
Yeah, that's really all we did. we did give it a shadow. Shall we also should we do the other side? Like
we have the what is the other side?
Well, like the done state, right? So you can actually see. I guess maybe this maybe suffices. You don't ever see the last roll, but
right. So I think that'll involve adding a new action to the Redux thing, because you need some action like, okay, I want to go back to the lobby or whatever.
Oh, I see. Like,
well, we have the like begin round action. I think we need like an end round action. That then.
I mean, that could also just be view state, but sure, yeah, no, you could also encode it in the. Yeah, it's like an end round. Okay, it's trivial to do.
Let's see.
All right, so we're gonna go to actions. There's our begin.
Yeah.
We just simply add like basically an empty action. Mm-hmm. Then all of this is phase transition, right?
Yeah.
And this is end round. Don't need a seed. You need. Does this do?
If you look at the roll, yeah. If you look at the like applied update for transaction, it's doing.
Right, sir.
If you look at the update for transaction function, there's some work that's done there that we want to move into this new action.
The explicit like end round. By the way, this is never hit. Because round is over is never true, because whenever this happens, the round thing gets deleted. I hit this problem with example. This used to run until the round is over, and it would just null out.
That's the same thing that's going on here, because we just need to move that processing into the this new action.
Okay, so where is it? I'm sorry again.
The thing was saying that is over. Yeah, so we should just pull that out of here and move that into the end round action.
Okay.
Basically, if the round is not over, then
we throw up.
Yeah, we want to throw an invalid action.
What happened? Let's see. It says and that's going to be. I have so few pixels. I see you're doing it.
So the way I did it before, as I said, round equals if it's null. It's like the round has not begun.
Okay. Do we need to display these errors somewhere in the UI?
Yeah. Right now they just show up as in the debugger.
That we can do. Like that seems very straightforward.
Do you think you need this constructor, right?
What happens when you hit one of these? Does it reject? Like Engine isn't smart enough to reject it, I bet.
I think the add function will throw an exception because it will try to reduce it right away.
We should check Engine. I see. It's important. No, it needs to do it the other way around. We need to reduce before we add.
Yeah, that's a good point. Check that it's going to work. Validate. So then on game controller, you may want to take a build context for its add function so that it can then put up a snack bar or like some sort of UI with the exception.
Exactly. So we should finish implementing end round though.
Okay.
So what is this going to do if we?
I think now if you
amount must be greater than the current best bit.
Right. So
that's true. But why? There is no best bid.
That's true.
Maybe this should be -1.
What are the? Can you go to the debugger and see what the variables are? Like what is best bid amount and what is amount?
I'm sure it's 0, right? Because there is no best bid, so it gets to 0, and our amount is 0. But let's confirm that.
I see. Yeah, you bid 0, and the best bid was 0, and so it didn't like that.
Yeah. So I think we just try making this -1.
So you're allowed to bid 0. Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Now this one will throw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's fine. We'll do that in a second. Okay, and so what we're expecting. How do I make?
I think it'll basically, the UI will get to the point where the pool is empty at some point. Yeah,
it is.
so
we can keep rolling.
But I think the UI should detect this case, and instead of putting a roll button, it should put a like end round button, and then take the end round action.
Okay, so all right, so let's go to main. Also, it should be rejecting all these rolls.
Oh, we could add that. So why don't we add that logic to roll, the roll action, to if the round is over, then throw an exception for.
Oh, we should, like, all of the actions should do this. If we had a like roller state, we could make them all throw, but yeah.
It's just like this,
maybe the phase is no longer rolling.
The phase is like done.
That
we have to set that somewhere.
This I would say this whole part of the project has been very complicated, like way more complicated than I thought. Just this whole state management. I don't know whether this is just that I don't have a good state management pattern, or the state management is just hard.
Well, I think what happens is you push all the complexity into these reduce functions, and the reduce functions are hard to write, but then all the rest of your code becomes really easy to write. Because like these reduce functions basically have to handle the case of like you're in some crazy state.
Yeah.
Like go figure it out. When the rest of your code doesn't have to care. It can just say like, oh, okay, this is the state we're in. Let me go like deal with that.
So when is the rolling done, and who detects that?
So that was in the update for transaction.
But now we want it to detect.
So right there where that red caret is, that's where it used to detect it. You say if the round is over, then do something.
We want to change the rounds phase. Yeah. Well, like
you just do that right there, right? You can just say
it's really it's not like pool is empty.
Right. Pool, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, there's a whole like state modeling question that becomes tricky.
And so now we're going to do.
We can do it right here at the end. You could just say phase is.
Sure.
Yep. Was empty.
Was empty. It's either we're in the bidding phase, or sorry, the rolling phase. Otherwise, we're done. Yep. But these are really tricky to write.
They're really tricky to write. And
I agree. You are concentrating the hardness into one function, which maybe is nice.
I think it's also hard to write just because it's not the like programming languages are, at least Dart is designed to be imperative, and we're using it in this very like functional declarative way, and so it doesn't have anything to help you. Whereas like imagine Dart just had like copy and write objects. Then all you do is you just like mutate the object, and you end up with a copy of it. Whereas here you have to like constantly like, okay, now we're going to update the object and like.
So this actually is no longer, this can be a round phase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Body might complete normally. Yes, this was the whole point, was to get to something like this.
Right. So now we want to create like a phase dot.
You want the rolling view again. You just want.
No, you can make a new view. Like it doesn't have to be the rolling view. I mean,
you want to sort of share with the.
Why don't we make it be the rolling view just for simplicity? But I think you may want like a fireworks or like, something, right?
Sure.
It just depends on whether you want to put the if statement inside of rolling view. We could.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which is, but it actually has an if statement it can check now.
So I think now if you press the roll button, it will throw an exception.
Nope.
Oh, the pool isn't empty for anymore.
Because we.
So
The pool went empty. I wonder why. Like maybe because we added a phase? Bid, right? This was it? I see. You were expecting this to happen. Don't know why.
Can you set a breakpoint in the
Also,
bidding
we got to
reduce
negative
function?
coins. What is it?
Yeah, this in the rolling reduce function. Can you set a breakpoint? Just curious what the world looks like.
In the rolling reduce function?
And for the roll action in the reduce function. Yeah. It's like, what is the round? What phase is it in?
Rolling.
It's the rolling phase. Okay. Fair enough.
Can that? Okay.
I mean, the pool is 4 right now, so that makes sense. Oh.
Is it getting set back?
Yeah, so this is another tricky thing about these reduce functions. We should go look to make sure that we're looking at the state after the coins have been moved. Yeah, we're not. Oh, no, we are. Pool is empty.
Well, this, you still could go back, right? Which you never want to do. Like, you don't want anything to be possible when the phase is done. Like, another way to do this would be for the round to disappear, like it was, and then have it be on last round.
Yeah, that could work.
Just be cautious. We're nearly out of time. I think we just sort of rambled through this code this hour.
Yeah, you sort of really, like, on the show, we've done a lot of sort of starting projects. Like, we've started a ton of projects. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a project I'm trying to get to a finished state basically in a week, because that's when people want to play it. And so you kind of, like, you have to wrestle with all these sort of detailed questions to actually get something to a finished state.
Well, there's another thing that's going on here is that, like we do with all of our projects, we set out to learn a new thing here. Like we pulled in Redux,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're fighting a lot with that and wrapping our brains around how to design around that.
Yeah, it's really not at all obvious to me how best, like, there's so many choices you have to make in this Redux pattern. It's not at all obvious how to do it, really.
And there's not good or bad about the pattern. I just don't have taste for it yet because I haven't failed at it enough. I'm developing some taste for it.
Yeah, I think that's how you learn, right? You like, we fail these things, and like then we say, okay, this worked. We finally got it to work, and it worked like that. And you do that a few times, and you have some sense of how these things are supposed to actually go.
Yeah, well, I think we probably should call it server and shelf to make it multiplayer.
I have it wired up to Firebase, actually. So that was actually the first thing I did, because I was worried that I had never done that before. Like the UI and Flutter and like all that stuff, I know I can do because I've Like if I bang at it enough, I'll get it figured out. But I'd never done a Firebase server. And so that was the very first thing I did is I made sure that I could like write a JSON blob up to Firebase and then read it back down. And that sort of has inspired this Redux approach is because the thing I want to serialize up to Firebase are just these actions. And then Firebase can has this thing where it notifies the clients when a new like event has arrived at the server.
We were having trouble with your initial data layout, which is what pushed us to this Redux. But I think that the bulk of the design decisions are done, and as you said, a lot of it's just polish. But I think, given the limited more time, I think that our engagements here need to be strategic around what are the actual blockers for the users. Whatever we were doing there, the data refactor may not actually matter. But
yeah.
Anyways, this was fantastic as always. Wonderful to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for everyone who showed up and watched live, and we appreciate all the people who watch on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and so next week we will be back as normal, and I think we will be doing because I think that'll be past your deadline, right, for this.
Yep. This thing will shift in whatever state you can get it into. Hopefully, a functional state.
Next week we'll probably go back to our garbage collector, which Adam and I have actually hacked on a whole bunch since we last saw you all. But then there was Bob, and we did our little Schimmel episode, which is another name for this, and then we'll go back to the garbage collector and maybe even wire it in Ren. So
cool. Well,
see you in a week or in 9 days, I guess. See you in regular time.
Something like that.
Take care.